Hey, Coach. Thanks for sending me the email. I'm happy to answer the questions the best I can in this video. If I miss anything, hit me up with a reply or go into the coaching lab and sign up for a one-on-one meet. We could just set up a time, meet for half an hour, and we can talk about some stuff. That way it might be a little bit easier. But I'll do the best I can right here with the information that I have. First, it sounds like you're in a great spot. You got athletes. They're ready to get up and down the floor, be aggressive with it, and you're going to be able to compete in that regard with all of the opponents that you're going to go up against. So a lot of the times it's the opposite. Hey, I've got some okay players, but we're not as athletic. What do we do? So you've got the athletes, which is great. There's three concepts that I want you to think about. Maybe you do them already, maybe you don't, but I think they're worth throwing out there. First is make sure you're pressing. If you have an athletic team, press all 94 feet. The biggest reason for that in the girls' game, I think, is because the girls don't throw the long baseball pass or throw the diagonal pass against a press very easily. Guys tend to do this more, so it stretches you out. Girls, you can kind of condense things and press in a little bit smaller area and not worry about that home run ball going over your head. So that's one reason that I would press if I had an athletic team. The second thing I would do is front the post. Don't let a team come down, set up their offense, and pick you apart by getting the ball into the post, drawing fouls, things like that. You can negate that by 100% fronting the post. That's how we do it in our program because I have undersized players almost every year. We're 6'2", we're 6'3" against 6'8", 6'9". We have had a lot of success keeping that ball out of there because it's a hard pass. The perimeter player has to pass it over their defender, has to pass it over our defender who's fronting, and then has to pass it into the post. And there's probably a help side on the backside. So we've got three defenders lined up against a perimeter player and a post player trying to pass to each other. So fronting the post, not a half front, we full front the post. So it's worked really well for us. But your best post defense is going to be the amount of pressure you get on the ball and on the perimeter. If they've got a lot of time to look and search, then they're going to be able to maybe pick you apart a little bit. So a lot of ball pressure, front the post, it's a pretty good combination. All right, the third thing is going to be tagging up. This is offensive rebounding. You want to keep those possessions alive as long as you can. That means that you're going to want to try to tag up and get those rebounds. That's sending 4 or 5 players to the glass. We generally tend to try to send 4. Sometimes it's 3, only because I want the shooter to complete the shot. I don't want them to be worried about going in and chasing the rebound. But we always have one player back, so there's never any more than 4. Some teams do go all 5 guys, though. So you have to see what you're comfortable with there. But we have found that we've been able to keep possessions alive against taller teams because we can get tips, and our perimeter guys become great rebounders when we tag up. All right, think about those 3 things. Maybe they're things you already do, have already looked at, but they're concepts that have helped us play fast and aggressive with smaller teams. All right, now let's talk about some conditioning stuff here. So this is something that I spent a lot of time on a few years ago because I wanted to press the entire game and I wanted my players to be better at the end than they were in the beginning. So I went to really some of the best track and cross country coaches that I knew and said, teach me what you have. So I'm going to get that to you in a nutshell and give you some ideas here. First thing is the amount of rest to work ratio. So your rest to work is how much rest are you giving them compared to how much work they're doing. So if we're doing a sprint, say, for 30 seconds, in the beginning of the season, I like to go a 4-to-1 ratio or 1-to-4. So if we have a 1 minute of work, we have 4 minutes of a break. It seems like a lot, but what you're trying to do is condition your athletes to go hard 100% when they're doing these drills. Now, they give active rest. It's not like they're sitting around when they're doing this. So let's say we do a sprint. It's going to be for a minute. I'm going to show you something on the board here in just a second. We do this minute sprint, and then we have them shoot free throws. So they're going to shoot free throws for 4 minutes, and they're going to rotate, let's say, 3 players at a hoop. So they're rotating, shooting, they're fully rested. We get back on the line or whatever the drill is. We do it again for a minute. We go to active rest. All right. So we're not allowing the players just to stand there. We're actually having them do something. They go and shoot their 3-pointers. They go and do a rebounding drill where they're working, but they're allowing everything to settle down. Now, as the season goes, when I get to around Christmas break, we shorten that. It's going to be a 3-to-1 ratio. So we get 3 minutes of rest for 1 minute of work, and then it goes 2-to-1. Now, where you get the 2-to-1 and the 1-to-1, you're always going to have a little bit of this, but where you get it is when you're scrimmaging. So you have your players play up and down, and we're not going to blow the whistle, for more, like we're going to play for 3 minutes straight, all right? And we're going to let them get tired. Then we're going to sub players out, and then we're going to sub them back in. Well, the game naturally has a rest to work ratio, and you're 1-to-1 and you're 2-to-1. So if we're doing 1 minute of work, we're doing 1 minute of rest. If we're doing 2 minutes of work, we're getting 2 minutes of rest. It comes naturally in the game, so your players start to get conditioned with that. So we don't want to overload them with running sprints, and coaches do this all the time. We're going to run a 30-second sprint. We're going to rest for 30 seconds. We're going to run a 30-second sprint. We're going to rest for 30 seconds. Their bodies have not recuperated at this point, so they're not ready to go again 100%. So we're actually depleting them, and we're making them work really hard, but we're not giving them recovery time. That recovery time is so key. All right, let's jump off of that for just a second. Start with something that's like a 1-to-4 ratio. Go 1-to-3. Let your scrimmages be your 1-to-1 and your 1-to-2. And you'll notice your players are going to be in shape better and better throughout your entire season, and are going to get stronger and stronger because we're kind of scaffolding their work. All right, a couple of drills in order to play hard for longer. First one is the Foster's drill. You've probably seen it before. We've got an offensive player, we've got a defensive player. I have them high five, so they high five each other. This player dribbles here and is dribbling back down. This player touches the baseline and comes back out and has to figure out how to close out here. So this player has the advantage, is going to want to get in there and score as much as they can. We're going to put a minute on the clock, and they're going to run this drill as much as possible. So you can switch them offensive and defensively after every possession. They're going to go for a minute. Then we're going to give them some active rest, have them shoot some free throws. Then we might even change the player. Or maybe we had a third player who is sitting out over here ready to come in. So one of them is going to continue to play, one's going to take a break, and we add this third one in there. Great conditioning drill, working on closing out, working on dribbling, working on finishing, all of that stuff. We love to get a lot of things in there together. So that's a great one. A conditioning test to help your players know where they're at conditioning. We call it the 1 minute test, really, a 1 minute dribbling test. But the players start here, and they're going to be dribbling the ball all the way down to the end. That counts as 1. All right, so they got 1. They're going to go all the way back down. All right, they got 2. And they're going to keep doing this for a minute. Now, each one of these is a quarter of the court, obviously. So when they get to that minute, and let's say they're around 7 or so, they've touched the end line 7. So we're on our 7th trip. We're coming back down this way, and we cross here, and the buzzer goes off. Well, they went 7.25 or 7.25. That's the score that you're going to record for them. All right, we tend to do this twice. So we did it for a minute. We're going to go shoot. We're going to have active rest. They're going to go get a drink at the drink fountain because this is a pretty hard test. Remember, they're dribbling while they're doing this. And then we're going to come back and we're going to do it again. We're going to get them to work through it one more time and see if they can reach that goal again, push themselves. Some will end at 7, some will be 6.5. Well, this is a good key for you for recording them to know who's in shape and who isn't. The other thing is, this isn't a timed drill where they all have to make 7.25. This is based on their performance and their athleticism and where they're at and with their conditioning. So we did this. All right, we're going to wait a couple of days. We don't do this every day. Let's say we did this on a Monday, maybe on a Thursday. We come back. We're going to do it again. What we would hope to see is this same player maybe got to a 7.5. The goal is to always get to at least where you were last time and hopefully move beyond it to the next score. We never want to end up below. If they're below, they're either being lazy, they don't feel good, they're injured, something like that is happening. But we should be increasing it over the course of the season. We should be getting further and further and further. So this is a great way to test their conditioning to see if what you're doing in practice is really working or not. Now I know it's running for a minute. They are dribbling the ball, and I am a big proponent of having them get their conditioning in drills. But this is a great test where they're deciding how hard to push themselves, and there you're getting what their level of conditioning is. Rather than you putting up 30 seconds on the clock and making them get that. Your slow girl may never make the 30 seconds. Your fastest person may get it done in 25, and they didn't have to work very hard because they're a really good athlete. Everybody individually gets their own score and can push themselves. Eventually, once you get these, if you put them in a spreadsheet, which I have in the coaching lab to keep this, you'll get the team average, and the goal is to be in the top half of the team. So you're kind of asking them to compete on that average, get above the average. So you can do that with a spreadsheet. All right, so those are a couple of drills. We do some defensive drills where offensive drills where our point guard is right here. We line our players up just like this, one on the front side of the out of bounds line, one behind it. Point guard throws the ball off the backboard, gets it here. When they throw it out, once it hits the backboard, these players are taken off. Everybody's taken off. And the defense is right behind them. Defense can't start early, though. Sometimes people start to cheat on this a little bit. You don't want to cheat. And the point guard then has to look at the 3 lanes to see who is open the most. They can use a dribble if they need to, but they're going to pass the ball up. This player gets it, and they have to drive it in there, and they're going to try to score it. Defense, their job is to catch up, try to tip it, try to get it out of there. Now, once they score it, this can become going back the other direction. Now we're going 3-on-3 the other way. Defense gets the ball, so let's say X1 got it, X2, you're running this lane, X3 was here, you're running this lane. Now X's are going that way. Those players that just sprinted have to turn around and have to go score on the other end, or have to go defend the other end. So this is kind of a continuous 3-on-3, but it starts off with a dead sprint right there and getting that pass ahead, then trying to go and score it. So that's another drill that we like to use as well. So these are just a couple of simple ideas to use that you can incorporate pretty easily. The last one that I'm going to give you is the Olympic 3-on-3. Love Olympic 3-on-3. So the Olympic 3-on-3, basically we're going to start it like this. Let's say this player, we get a pass here, we get a drive, and they miss the basket, okay? The defense just has to get it back beyond the 3-point line, and they play automatically, okay? Let's say the defense then gets it, and they go in there, and they score it. So it's made basket. Normally what you do is you check it back up at the top. Now, we don't want to check it back up. The opposing team gets the ball out of the net, throws it out. Let's say they throw it out. As soon as they get both feet the ball past the 3-point line, it's live right away. They don't have to throw it here either. It could have went over here. Just have to get the ball and your feet over that 3-point line. So that's Olympic 3-on-3, where there is the only time you ever check the ball up again. Somebody got injured and they had to stop play, which doesn't really ever happen, or the ball really went far out of bounds, and we're going to call an out of bounds play. You can play with the out of bounds if you want, or you can say no out of bounds, doesn't matter. But Olympic 3-on-3, where they're not stopping and checking it up. Usually we put a time limit on it. We're going to play for 4 minutes straight. You might start with 2 minutes if they've never done it before. The players will get tired. Okay, when they're done with the 4 minutes, whoever has the most points wins. Or you can say we're going to play to 7 points. Whoever is in the lead has to hit a free throw in order to seal it. So they're tired. They got to get to the free throw line. They've got to hit the free throw. If they don't hit the free throw, then you can do however you want. Sometimes we do a sudden death. Sometimes we let the losing team shoot the free throw. If they make it, they win. So that doesn't add a lot of time, but the pressure is still there and getting some free throw work in as well. So, all right, coach, it's probably more time than what you wanted to watch a video for, but you got 3 concepts to use with your team and start in terms of a scheme. You've got some drills that you can use, as well as this 3-on-3 format that you can throw in for the Olympic 3-on-3. I hope this helps you out. If you want to talk more, want to talk specifics, hit me up inside the coaching lab. Just check out my calendar, sign up for a time, and I'm glad to chat with you. All right, coach. Have a good